Hey, today I'll be talking about episodes 62 through 64 of YanXi Palace. Yingluo is now grounded in her palace for stabbing Shun, and the Empress wastes no time eliciting a confession from her eunuch Quanzi, who says Yingluo was always bad-mouthing Shun and probably did hurt her on purpose. I'm not blaming him because as a servant, what choice does he really have? But at this point, his credibility should be shot. He changes sides like every other episode, who can believe him? With Yingluo at her lowest, Yuan comes to visit and make things worse.
名誉就那么重要？
I mean, I kind of have the same question, but Yuan, stop being such a loser. You've had your revenge, alright, go away now. Yuan puts Quanzi in charge and charges him to ensure that Yingluo is taken care of.
不想喝，那你就饿着吧。
Dude, I thought we were friends. Didn't Yingluo literally teach you how to read? Speaking of fake friends, with Yingluo gone, Shun's true colors come out and she completely stops playing nice with the other girls.
姐妹相称，就凭你们也配？
She tricks Fu Heng into meeting her, getting him to stay by saying Yingluo's life is in danger. Nope. It doesn't matter what she has to say to you. The moment you hear that door closing, you should be running outside. She could now accuse you of literally anything. You have no excuse for ever being completely alone with a consort. Shun says that now that Yingluo has fallen, everyone will be clamoring to make that final blow. She tries to get him riled up, asking if he regrets losing Yingluo, if he likes kowtowing to the man that ruined his life. Literally, just as I was thinking to myself, Fu Heng is like a calm lake. He'll never be able to manipulate him with your pot stirring. Bruh. He storms out, but Shun clearly got what she wanted, which was pissing him off, I guess. Meanwhile, at YanXi Palace,
每天一杯清水。
where was he hiding just now? Has he been there all day? When she refuses to do what he wants, which is apologize and beg for his forgiveness, Yuan loses it completely.
从今天起，那碗清粥少了。
At this point, even Quanzi thinks this is insane. Yingluo could actually die, but Yuan dismissively says they will just frame it as Yingluo succumbing to depression and illness. If this sounds too sloppy for one of Shen's plots, that's because it is. He has gone way off script. Shun comes to see Yingluo. She tells her that despite what Yingluo must be thinking, she doesn't really see her as her enemy. It's the Empress pushing for her death, not her.
你怎么还不明白？我在帮你。
She tells Yingluo that she's done all of this to help not just her, but also the man who saved her life. Remember, Fu Heng saved her from falling off a cliff on their way over here. She offers to help Yingluo escape this horrible place before the Empress and her lackeys can drive her to her death. She cries, saying that just like Yingluo, she was forced into marrying the Emperor. She can't escape, but she hopes Yingluo can be free, outside of the palace with the man she loves.
在这座可怕的宫殿将你吞没之前，走吧，走得远远的，永远都不要再回来。
Shun then goes to Fu Heng, telling him that Yingluo has agreed to run away with him, and she's arranged for them to sneak out in the giant barrels used to transport water. The pieces set, she then goes to the Emperor. She tells him in tears that she cannot hide it anymore, and there's a secret she needs to tell him. Despite all the care he's shown for them, Fu Heng and Yingluo have betrayed him, and are sneaking out of the palace to be together. At the crack of dawn, we see the giant barrels used to transport water making their way to the nearby spring as they do every morning. But this morning, they find the gates are sealed by order of the Emperor. The carts are brought back inside, and if it were me, sitting in that barrel feeling myself slowly being brought back to face my doom, time to pop that cyanide pill. Or I guess truer to the time period, time to lick up that poison hidden under my long nails. Quanzi, you little rat, are you on our side again now?
娘娘说了，有人想要害她，为了引出这个人，所以让奴才藏在水车之中。
Yingluo comes out from around the corner looking rehydrated and healthy. The Emperor obviously wants to know what's going on.
顺嫔先是又臣妾私奔，又设计一出当场捉拿。
Shun, of course, plays it innocent, saying Yingluo must have gotten cold feet and is now trying to blame everything on her. And then out comes Fu Heng, who also did not fall for her trickery. He confirms Yingluo's story, telling the Emperor that Shun came to him suddenly trying to get him to run away with Yingluo. Clearly, she orchestrated all of this, hoping to get them in trouble. Shun's story starts falling apart, and I love these little smirks from Yingluo and Fu Heng. Shun falls to her knees, begging the Emperor to see the truth, and the Emperor tells Li Yu to bring out the item he asked for.
福恒，这些就是顺嫔陷害你的理由。
Oof, that's a face that says, I have been caught in a lie. The Emperor reveals he already dug into her past. She was married before and even had a child. Because she was so beautiful, she was kidnapped and forced into the palace against her will to serve as a present to garner the emperor's favor. When Fu Hong saved her, she was actually trying to commit suicide. And okay, but are you really mad at someone for saving your life? How was he supposed to know what was going on with you? You were just a stranger in trouble. This is a lot of anger when it sounds like the one you should be mad at is your kidnapper. Knowing she's caught, Shun drops the act, admitting that yes, she planned all of this to hurt Fu Hong for saving her life, and the emperor for being the root cause of all of this. And I mean, even that's a stretch. He also had no idea about your situation. Not to mention Yingluo, who is truly uninvolved. In her final act of revenge,
皇上，是你们的错，都是你们的错，你们该死，你们该死。
Again, take all of this anger and push it on your kidnapper. Shun is of course imprisoned, and that manly shoulder pat I think was supposed to be a thank you. The emperor then calls Yingluo in, asking her when she began to suspect Shun.
你明知顺嫔有问题，却故意踩入陷阱，是不是要引证召集？
皇上明明怀疑顺嫔，却故意不张扬，是要试探臣妾吗？
So they both suspected Shun, both used her to test each other's feelings, and they reconcile for the umpteenth time. You know what it is about these two? They're like that couple that is always arguing, always on the rocks. Everyone is just begging them to end it, but they refuse because they just love making each other crazy. These two definitely deserve each other. The Empress Dowager calls Yingluo in, and honestly I'm done with her at this point. The only reason Yingluo had to trick you was because if she hadn't, you would have killed an innocent person.
我绝不能原谅你。
Okay? The Emperor comes to defend her, and Yingluo pulls her signature, looks like I'm in trouble, better faint to get out of this.
恭喜皇上，
令妃怎么回事？
皇上，令妃娘娘有喜了。
No, but honestly, the Empress Dowager was pretty cool at the start, but ugh, what was all of this?
你很好，你很好。
Well, I guess we're not friends anymore. Oh well, now she's got the Emperor and this baby, so who needs her? This whole Shun thing, I actually really did like as a plot. She's a good manipulator, and I so badly wanted Yingluo to have a real friend that I was doing what I think Yingluo was doing, ignoring red flags in the desperate hope that someone was being honest for once. And after finding out her story, I definitely understood the anger she was holding. I still think it was crazy who she chose to target, but I guess you can read it as lashing out at anyone and anything when you've had everything taken away from you. As for Yingluo and the Emperor, honestly, I'm exhausted. This could not be me. How tiring to constantly be having to trick and try and outsmart your partner. But maybe that's actually a testament to their compatibility, because while I would rather die, they both seem to love it. I mean, some people really do find a calm, stable relationship boring. Who am I to judge? Their relationship has got me thinking yet again about what Yingluo's life with Fu Hong might have been like. He's never been the scheming type, and I can't imagine him having an interest in any of these games. If Yingluo really loves living like this, maybe she wouldn't have been happy living that small, tranquil kind of life. Who knows? What I do know is Yingluo is lucky she didn't miscarry while going through all of this. She knew she was pregnant and was keeping that as her trump card, but the whole no food and water thing was mighty dangerous considering how many women have miscarried for less. And now she'll have to confront her very real fear of giving birth. I think, or rather hope, that Yingluo is fine with getting pregnant and not just doing it because she has to. When the emperor asks about this, she says,
一个女人只会为她心爱的男人生孩子。
which is honestly the dumbest thing I've ever heard come out of her mouth. Living in the harem of all places, how can Yingluo say with a straight face that pregnancies and love are at all intertwined? What magical world is she living in where women are only impregnated when they're happy and in love? And if she's trying to say being in love is the only reason a woman would stay pregnant, that's still dumb as hell. We just saw that this pregnancy protected her. The Empress Dowager was about to punish her, and now she's untouchable. We've been seeing how hard her life is with nothing but the Emperor's whims to rely on. Having a prince would give her a more powerful standing in the harem. Yingluo clearly likes kids. Maybe she just wants to raise one. There, that's 3 reasons right there that aren't love. Imagine you have doubts about whether your partner really wants to marry you, so you ask and they say, only people who are in love get married. It's like, okay, 1, that's patently untrue, and 2, you didn't answer the question. I'm not saying she doesn't love him or that she doesn't want to have his baby. I'm just saying if that line was supposed to show that, it was a complete misfire. Till next time, thanks for watching.